The story of energy today is no longer just supply and demand. It's about imagination. It's about how technology, partnerships and bold ideas can create a future where growth goes hand in hand. That vision came alive in Bengaluru at Shell Presents Changemakers of Tomorrow 2025, a platform that brings together innovators, policymakers, academia, entrepreneurs and partners shaping the future of energy. The event was inaugurated by Nivruti Rai, MD and CEO, Invest India, Mansi Madan Tripathy, Chairperson, Shell Group of Companies and SVP Shell Lubricants APAC, Robbert van Rutten, EVP and CIO Shell, Selda Gunsel, EVP Technology Shell, Pratibha Priyadarshini, VP HR Shell India, Mark Van Leefland, VP IDT Delivery and Engineering Shell, and Ajay Mehta, VP Research and Innovation Shell. Mansi Madan Tripathy, Chairperson Shell Group of Companies and SVP Shell Lubricants APAC, emphasized bold ideas and collective action. Nivruti Rai, MD and CEO of Invest India, spoke about building tomorrow's infrastructure today, and Gunjan Krishna, Commissioner for Industrial Development, Government of Karnataka, reminded us that inclusive growth begins with empowering MSMEs. Together, their words set the tone for the changemakers of tomorrow.
The global context, with everything which is going on, the tariffs, the wars, the energy prices, the ups and downs. Focusing a little bit closer to home in India, we have a very interesting situation as we talk right now. Because on one hand, the trajectory of our growth is inevitable. Last quarter, as you know, we recorded 7.8% from our GDP, which is much higher than what was ever predicted. And we are slated to be one of the highest growing global economies, right, at 6.5, 6.9%, which we all feel very proud about. But with that, obviously, it comes with a huge need for energy and energy growth. We handle most of the financial operations for a variety of our businesses coming from our country. The technical assets, 36 global assets are handled from the country. So as long we keep thinking of ourselves as solitary drops, that, what can we do individually to solve this big problem, we'll not go anywhere. But if we think that each of us has the power of the ocean in us, and together we can create the tide to solve for this big mammoth challenge in front of us, I am very hopeful, confident, as well as absolutely sure that together we'll be able to solve for this and take the energy transition head on, and Shell be at the forefront for solving for it. Changemakers is not just an event for us. It is a momentum which we have been carrying out, and this is our third edition. We have been having that movement from the physical, digital combination to saying how do we increase the rate of innovation. And now in this one, as we always talk about the Trinity in India, which is about the various forces or the heart, mind, and soul, in this Changemakers, I particularly feel that you will experience not just the hardware, the software, but how do we get the soul behind it so that we can keep moving.
With the world that all of us are living in, intelligence is in your hand. Access to information is in your hand. We have a level playing field across many countries, geographies, because information is not just for privileged few. So what do? What we do is leverage the growth driver as human and AI symbiosis. The growth will happen not because you have information, but because of creativity, connectivity, and action. Finding the right startup, finding the right company is like going and fishing for the pearl. And I know you guys are doing a great job at it, but we as Invest India are doing this. And our goal is not just to bring the investor into India, but working with the investor till they get return of investment. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to working with all of you and driving the growth of India and growth of India powering the growth of the world. Thank you.
I would like to congratulate Shell for the Changemakers of Tomorrow. In fact, if you look at the innovation, we are in the land of innovation. Karnataka is a pioneer when it comes to the innovation culture. We are number one when it comes to the R&D that happens in the country. 40%, in fact, of the R&D of the country happens here. And if you're looking at Global Capability Center, and I have had the opportunity of visiting the Shell's GCC and the R&D Center at Devanhalli, and I was quite amazed with the kind of work that they are doing. So congratulations to you. We really require innovative ideas to come in the energy so that not only are we self-sufficient, at the same time, it does not in any ways cause any problems in our growth stories. And our mantra in Karnataka is innovation now will ensure growth forever. Thank you.
A fireside chat between Nandan Nilekani, co-founder and chairman of Infosys, Robbert van Rutten, EVP and CIO of Shell, explored how digital innovation is already reshaping India's energy landscape.
In preparation of our sort of little fireside chat, I've been watching a few clips of you on the internet, which are inspiring, thought-provoking. And in many of these interviews, you talk about pretty much wearing two hats. So sitting on that crossroad between private and public, what's your observation around where the impact's going to be the biggest? What do you see?
When I work on public sector infrastructure, it's truly at population scale. How do you get 1 billion people into anything? And those learnings are invaluable. And then when I work in the private sector, which has a different way of working, it's about applying that to business and market problems. So I think I'm actually very bullish on the potential for technology for transformation, be it for businesses like Shell, be it for societies. But it's important to do it in a way that it is good for people, that it's inclusive. But now I personally feel that with scalable AI, with the energy transition, Shell is a leader in that. I think there are many, many opportunities for technology. And the way I look at this is, I look for unlocks. Is there some unlock which opens up the whole thing? And all the work I have done has been to finally hone in on something which, if I turn the key, it just explodes. So we have to think about the same in your business.
What will be your one call to action for people to walk away with today in a world where we probably are looking at a new inflection point in terms of what the technology is? What's your one call to action?
Well, I think, first of all, it's great to be working in Shell. I think it's a great company, a legendary global company, and as I said, a leader. And everybody here is playing a very critical role in that journey. And I think more and more of the strategic and important things in Shell's transformation will happen here. So I think everybody has a role to play. And I think if the next 5-10 years, if you can successfully manage the whole energy transition, achieve your goals, not just the business goals, but getting towards net zero, building all the newer energy capabilities, building the global retail network, globalization of, I think this, and applying, of course, AI to all, I think it's an unbelievable opportunity. So here it is, one of the world's greatest companies doing its most important work and in the most transformative decade of its future.
One of the standout sessions, Tech-Driven Energy, how technology is powering the transition to a secure and lower carbon future, brought together Mansi Madan Tripathy, Chairperson of Shell Companies in India, Arundhati Bhattacharya, Chairperson and CEO of Salesforce South Asia, N. Venu, MD and CEO of Hitachi Energy India and South Asia, and Satyakam Arya, Managing Director and CEO of Daimler India Commercial Vehicles. moderated by CNBC TV 18's Shruti Mishra. The discussion highlighted how digital technologies, progressive policies, and cross-sector partnerships can accelerate the energy transition.
Let me start with a broad question that is for all of you. Technology, as we all know, is no longer just an enabler. It is the accelerator, from digital tools to AI to predictive analytics to cloud. The big question, however, is how far, how fast, and how equitable can we go? Can technology make us go faster and more fairly towards a low-carbon future? Satyakam, can we start with you?
I think there could be three different positions on that. An optimist would say, let's go all out.
Yes.
Right? And I'm sure there are a lot of optimists in the room. There may be also pragmatics who may say, let's go step by step. Let's learn on the way and then make it very, very sustainable in terms of adoption, right? And the third could be skeptics, right? They could say, let's figure it out before we jump into it. I'm more of the optimistic kind. I believe technology is offering a huge convergence of possibilities.
So, Mr. Venu, your thoughts?
If you take a 2021 data, India has used 450 units of electricity for every $1,000 of its GDP. Versus Germany, you take 120 units. If you take the industrial output, if we compare the five largest economies, and we are the fourth largest economy, and we are using 700 units of electricity for every $1,000 of GDP, and China is less than 600. Rest of the three economies are less than 150 units. There's a huge scope, and it's not, we need to leapfrog on the technology to use this, I don't use the inefficiencies, to bring the more efficiencies across all the sectors. Thank you.
Sure. Arundhati Bhattacharya, how can technology make us move faster and fairly towards a low-carbon future?
Yeah. So, first of all, let's understand one thing, that, there have been a lot of changes, especially in the area of technology. And in many of those cases, people have wondered whether this is something that is really going to make a change. One thing I think everybody is now more or less convinced about is that this is a technology, the AI piece, the generative piece that has happened, that's really going to make a very material change in the way we perceive our future. It's not only the future of work, but the future of the world itself. Also regarding a carbon neutral future, this is the only way we can make it happen, because it can give us the amount of data that will ensure that wastage in every supply chain goes down.
Mansi, you agree with what Arundhati Bhattacharya just said, this is the only way it has to happen.
Just a few weeks back, we were trying to see for my business, Lubricants, what are the things which we can now do to take it to the next level in terms of using the AI technology and what needs to be done. And the moment you start painting that picture, you realize that it's an ocean, right? You have to do so many things to get right. So after 3 days of workshop, our conclusion was that, we can't do everything, so we have to pick up 3 processes first, which we are going to pick it, right? And then for those processes, we have to ensure that our data is absolutely perfect, clean, because, while we may talk that we need to reach here, the reality is that some of our interconnectivities are patchy, our data is not that strong. So I think then the data gets very important, technology to enable it, and then people behind it, right? So I think all 4 needs to go together, process, data, technology, and people, to then tie this all together so that we can make progress.
Picking up from what you just said, and if you could further elaborate on how Shell is leveraging its digital and engineering hubs in India to sort of drive innovation and accelerate the energy transition.
The most important part is the technology and the work which is coming out is definitely something which is not only to be used in India, but for the globe, right? I think that's how the mindset is in terms of working. So if I think from a pure R&D perspective, we have this project going on solid oxide electrolyzer, where we are trying to see how the hydrogen molecule can be 20 to 30% more efficient than what it is in the peers. And we're working with Ceres-Power on that one as a partner, right? Likewise, from the TAS organization, which is our asset monitoring organization, which actually monitors close to 35 assets globally. So these assets are in Gulf of America, Canada, Africa, Australia, you name it. But I think it is now based on the robotics, which is there, the Internet of Things, what do you call it, as the Internet Eye, which is observing it. People sitting in India can, they have like millions of data feeds which are coming in. And we are able to predict if there is an unsafe incident about to happen. We are able to predict if a machine has a corrosion level which is going to go higher. We are able to predict that, a particular the external environment is not conducive to do certain activities, which in turn, people sitting in India can switch on, switch off things in those remote locations to be doing this work, which is something completely, and the more you think about it, you can see now how that database can help us to do so much more now than, both from a people, but more importantly for safety, for efficiency, and so on and so forth.
Sure. How do digital twins deliver cost savings and, improve planning accuracy? If you can give us an example, perhaps.
Absolutely. Just to build on what Mansi talked about it, it's a predictive, understanding the predictive maintenance, right? Whether the failure happen or not. One failure in the energy systems today can have a catastrophic effect. How do you simulate that? How do you plan in those digital systems? How do you create all those things in your digital replica and then take the actions in that? So it is like a foresight. So digital systems are, if you take your normal energy systems, are just like a reactive systems, whereas the digital twins are a proactive, a partner to the whole of the energy systems in that.
Satyakam, in the mobility and the EV space, what role is generative AI really playing in simulation, asset designing, or in fact workforce training as well?
Well, actually, generative AI or all the related technologies are very key in the transformation which is happening in mobility. We had last year set up an uptime center in our company. And in that uptime center, we have about 30 people who are continuously 24/7 monitoring all the Bharat-Benz vehicles which are running on the roads. They are able to contact the driver in real time and advise him whenever there is a need to do so. They are able to also predict when the vehicle needs a maintenance or if the vehicle could have a breakdown in future and divert the vehicle to the nearest service station where things are then kept ready to receive that vehicle. And we are right now scaling that uptime center to be present in all parts of the country. So the moment a truck, for example, enters Karnataka boundary, it would be visible on an uptime center which has been set up in Bangalore.
Arundhati Bhattacharya, coming to you, predictive maintenance and risk modeling are getting mainstream. Can you share some examples where you've seen impact already?
So predictive maintenance and risk modeling, both of these things are now almost, de rigueur for most companies. Yeah. Okay. The IoT is able to capture temperature variations, any vibration variations, and therefore, tell you that this could be a possible scenario that is developing. And therefore, you take this particular machine out of that particular chain and get it maintained so that, the whole chain does not break down. So this is something that's happening in most manufacturing plants. And in respect of most businesses, risk modeling is something that's a must.
Again, before I wrap up, one final question. In one sentence, what's your call to action for technology's role in powering this energy transition? Satyakam, let me start with him.
Well, I think we are at the most profound moment in our history. What lies up ahead is mind-boggling, but also very exciting. And I believe with the convergence of these technologies, a zero emission or a decarbonized mobility is a commercial reality today.
Absolutely.
So
Mr. Venu.
I talk about, energy trilemma. Energy trilemma is sustainability and security of supply and affordability. The affordability is extremely important to bring the technologies and more than half of the world in that. And that's where, I'm looking forward to that call of action to bring the technology at a scale and speed, which is also affordable to our customers in the energy transition. Thank you.
Okay.
I think we are really at the doorstep of a change that's going to see an enormous improvement in the standards of living across the board. It's not something that we are still envisaging properly, but used in the right way, this technology can actually unlock potential such that we have never seen before. So it's very exciting.
Absolutely. Mansi, your final words.
For me, it will be the balance between staying at a very high level to see how all these, as we call it, Gen AI, FAI, KAI, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, be rooted into something which needs to be delivered here and now. And how do we travel that duality would remain the key as we navigate the future. Yeah.
Innovation was everywhere at Shell Changemakers of Tomorrow, from Shell and Explorers student teams and CSR innovation projects to founders under the Shell E4 Incubator. The event celebrated ideas with impact. Among the highlights, EV Lunaris, an electric vehicle prototype developed by Team Folium EcoDrive from the College of Engineering Trivandrum, stole the spotlight in the vehicle showcase. Each project was more than a concept. It was proof that young innovators are tackling today's energy challenges with creativity, courage, and purpose.
The spirit of today's Changemakers of Tomorrow event for me is inspiration. I'm inspired by the dedication and passion to make a positive impact on our energy system through sharing ideas and insights for a better future.
So much economic growth is taking place in India. At this event, you can see all the innovation in terms of the brain power and intellect that you have in this country. And what we bring, I come from Norway, for example, and coming here and witnessing what is available in terms of capacity is amazing. And what we bring is the experience from different continents, different countries, different assets. And together, we are able to learn from each other and drive forward in the energy future.
The kind of energy, and the kind of use cases which we are seeing is brilliant and massive, right? So it's kind of a stepping stone for all of us to make sure that, we encash this opportunity and try and see, how we build AI into the future landscapes.
Beyond the keynote sessions, participants immerse themselves in hands-on learning, masterclasses on open innovation, AI for energy, digital infrastructure, and the future of gas. The workshops provided attendees with new skills, sharper perspectives, and renewed energy to apply fresh ideas to their own ventures.
It's a great way to bring everybody together and kind of just at an organization level really showcase that what all the organization is into. So I think that has been amazing and very amazed to see the kind of curiosity that people have to even know what Shell is into.
From visionary speeches to student prototypes, and from panel debates to hands-on learning, Shell Changemakers of Tomorrow 2025 showcase the power of innovation and collaboration in action. It is where ideas ignite, partnerships grow, and together we power a cleaner, fairer, forward-looking future.